Okay. What's up, everybody? Good morning. Welcome to a Friday edition. Get my days mixed up. Friday edition of Morning Scone presented by Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic, Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. Do business with some, Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. Restored Motions and RestoredMotions.com. All right, we appreciate y'all for being here. Hope everyone has had a fantastic week so far. Great Calandro's whiskey raffle last night was virtual again. Raised a hair under $70,000 with proceeds going to the Four Kids Foundation and, of course, St. Lillian. So great night, and appreciate everybody who watched, participated, bought tickets. Congrats if you won something, for sure. I need to check my tickets to see if I did. I don't know if I did, but great night either way. 3 more LSU players have entered the transfer portal. Cole Taylor, tight end, has entered the transfer portal. Colby Fields, linebacker, transferred in from South Carolina, has entered the transfer portal. And Desmond Ritter has entered the transfer portal as well. So, quick thought on each one, and then we'll move through here. Cole Taylor, not a big surprise. Brian Kelly's making over that tight end room, and when you had a freshman like Mason Taylor overtake Cole Taylor, and you see what they're recruiting behind him, they've already put out an offer in the transfer portal to a Division II All-American from Shorter University. And then you got Mac Markway committed, and then Tavion Galloway committed for 2024. They're remaking that tight end room, so Cole Taylor will have an opportunity to go play somewhere else. Desmond Little's a little surprising. Desmond Little is surprising considering, really, if B.J. Ojulari goes pro, he plays the jack linebacker position. I mean, you got Xavier Carter. You got Xavier Carter there, and Desmond Little. So, and they moved Desmond Little to the jack in fall camp, and Brian Kelly raved about him. So. A guy who probably would have had a lot of opportunities there, but LSU's going to have to hit that position. They've already ordered offered one edge player, a guy from Oregon, in the transfer portal, and they got a couple of guys committed, a couple of edge players committed already, and then Colby Fields, also a little surprising. They intentionally brought in last year West Weeks and Colby Fields, knowing they weren't going to be starters, but knowing you were bringing in young guys who had Division I experience because you knew you were losing Baskerville and Mike Jones after this season. But Greg Penn's emergence, Harold Perkins, his emergence probably made Fields look and say, yeah, I'll go somewhere where I'll have an opportunity to be a starter instead of just a role player. So Colby Fields out as well. And then also Demario Tolan, I should mention. He's not leaving, but Demario Tolan's emergence when he came back from the back injury, he got into the rotation. So part of me understands Colby Fields, but it's also like, man, that's the reason you came here. But anyway, so 8 players. I know there were some people saying 9. If you were listening to AFR yesterday, some were saying 9 were in the portal, and we couldn't figure out who the 9th one was. And some people were saying Jordan Tolles. Jordan Tolles is not in the transfer portal. Jordan Tolles transferred before this season and landed at Morgan State. So he played football this year at Morgan State, so he's not in the portal as an LSU player. He played this year at the FCS level. Okay, let's say some good mornings. See what y'all got. If you're there on YouTube, please smash that like button, subscribe to the channel. If you haven't done so yet, Facebook, please like the page, share the post. Quentin Breakbill, good morning. Kelly Gross, Brian Wynn, Craig Dubga, Jeff McKithen, Jason Truax, Dale Broussard, good morning, good morning. Brian Wynn, Matt, anyone from the Saints jumping into the transfer portal? If only that were a possibility. Jeff McKithen, where can we check tickets? Yeah, so they're going to put, Jeff, they will post the list of all the winning ticket numbers on the Calandro social media today. So be on the lookout for that. You could go back and rewatch the raffle if you wanted to painstakingly go through and hear every number called again, but I think they'll post the list today. They should post the list today. I need to check mine because we were doing the show last night. I wasn't following to see if my tickets were winners. Brant Roban about to try the new Keurig. Need to reload. What did that say? That DB room is hitting the road fast. No, Brent. Well, yes. Okay. So, but that's not anything unexpected, Brant. That's the thing. Like Radarius Jones, Demarius McGee, they didn't play this year. And Jones was ineligible, and McGee played one game, like 2 snaps. So you knew they were gone. And then Jark Bernard Converse, Colby Richardson, Mekhi Garner, you knew they were leaving anyway. Fouché, super senior, right? All those guys are super senior. So none of that's surprising. You really, 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 really need to attack these 5-star targets. I know like Javian Toviano is one of those guys. There's another who's the cornerback that they're targeting? Desmond Ricks, who they feel they're going to get from IG. They feel they're going to get Desmond Ricks. I mean, they're confident about him, but I've heard you hear that from forever about everyone all the time. But you get Desmond Ricks. Maybe he's a guy that steps in, 5-star cornerback, steps in, is able to play as a freshman the way that Stingley did or Ricks did. Some of those guys. So that could help you rebuild your depth in a hurry too. David Coslin, Christopher Smith, Robert Martin, good morning. Jerry, I know y'all used to talk to the lottery watch for the Pels. Oh, you'll need to add a lottery watch for the Lakers. Yes. Well, it's a pick swap. You don't have their pick, Jerry. It's a pick. It's a pick swap, right? So if the Lakers finish in the standings below the Pelicans, then the teams will swap picks. So the Lakers would get the Pelicans first, the Pelicans would get the Lakers first. So, yes, but so your premise is right, though. Yes, if the Lakers end up in the lottery, I mean, the Pelicans would get that pick. So, yes, it would be great if they got the first overall pick. Oh, my God, how cool would that be? Craig Duga, wish you would have asked to get tickets. Hey, bro, come on. I don't need to ask you if you want me to get you tickets. You need to ask me. Oh, okay, sorry. Wish I would have asked you. Got it. Yes, I would have done it for you. I would have gladly done it for you, for sure. Now, if any of the tickets won, I would have said that was my ticket. Hey, you. Can you see a scenario where DA is kept as head coach, Carmichael is the fall guy? Absolutely. I can absolutely see that. We talked about that with Mike Tripp. I'm telling you, the folks that cover this team on a day-to-day basis, a lot of them I know really well. When I say, I mean the ones that are there at practice, in the building, and the media availability, which I'm not, right? All that happens in New Orleans. I'm in Baton Rouge, and I'm on air when most of the media availability happens. So, everyone I talk to feels like Dennis Allen's going to be back next year. So, now, see what happens over these next 4 games. But, yeah. So I do think, yes, Carmichael could be the fall guy, yes. Wendell Norman, good morning. Jay Tay, 10, good morning, Matt. One thing I like about Brian Kelly, he doesn't go after stars, but they do fit in his system and have good chemistry, in my opinion. That's just as important as stars, excited for the future. So, to one degree, yes, but let's also not get it twisted. There's a reason that the teams with the highest ranked recruiting classes are the ones that are always, like for example, the 2023 recruiting rankings: Bama, Georgia, Notre Dame, Texas, Ohio State, LSU, Oklahoma, Miami, Clemson, Tennessee. I mean, as I get it twisted, I mean, the teams at the top of the recruiting rankings are the ones that win as well. But yes, like there should be prospects you take that maybe aren't the highest sought after guys, but if they fit what you want to do and you like the prospect and you're bullish on them, then you take them for sure. I agree with that. On a broadhead, good morning, Eric Wilderwater. Morning. I'm not sure how else to ask. It seems like no Saints beat writers have the nuts to really call it Saints on how objectively terrible they've been. Thoughts? So I think you have to think of this, Eric. Like there is a big difference that sometimes in the modern day of media, it gets convoluted because there's so much gray because there are so many outlets, right? If you are a beat writer and your job is to cover the team on a day-to-day basis, it's not your job to go into a press conference and just like lob bombs at Dennis Allen like a pissed off fan. Your job is to cover the team. And unless and until someone within the organization suggests that Dennis Allen's coaching for his job, that's not really a story. Now, a media member could ask, Dennis, do you feel like you're coaching for your job over these final 4 weeks? I think that's a valid question. But that's very different than me giving my opinion on the team, which is what I get paid to do. I get paid to give an opinion on the team. Because a lot of people ask me, they're like, man, why won't anybody go as hard as you do on the Saints? I don't know. I don't do other people's jobs. For some, maybe it's, I'd be guessing, fear of losing access. Maybe they just have a different opinion than I do. I don't know. I can't speak for how someone else does their job. I can just speak for how I do mine. But I do know that a press conference isn't the spot where you go and try to attack a coach, or a player or anything like that. Trivia Carter, good morning. Jesse Brown, morning, Matt. Happy Friday. Latest rosters to riches was really good as always. Thank you. Yeah, so we got it published yesterday. Again, our apologies for the delay in getting that published, but the episode with Mark Kester from the Players NIL is live now. Brett DeGrow, Matt Plavidal, good morning. Finished my driver training with USPS. And just need to do the academy next week. I'll be on the streets delivering. So far, so good. All right, Matt, great to hear it, man. Good luck, bud. Zach Maxwell, thoughts on Jordan Travis back for Florida State. I said this earlier this week, I believe, and some of y'all laughed at me. Maybe I said it on Scone and T, that I think Florida State LSU is going to be a preseason top 10 matchup when they play in Orlando next year. Now we'll see if Jaden Daniels comes back for LSU, but Tigers win the West. The overall perception of LSU, I think, has come back. Remember, a lot of blue bloods get the benefit of the doubt. Texas A&M, after consistently going 8-4 under Jimbo, was a preseason top 10 team this year based on a recruiting class, right? Oh, man. Here we go. So, right now, LSU 16, Florida State is 13. If both of those teams win their bowl game and get to 10 wins, next year, both of them are going to start right around the top 10 in the preseason. So, yeah, you could have a preseason top 10 matchup with LSU and Florida State and Orlando. It's probably going to be if not one of the preeminent games in college football's opening weekend next year. Jason Mabbio, when's the deadline for the portal? If a guy's in the portal, when is the deadline for him to leave or remain on his current team? So it's a 45-day window. So this is day 5 of 45. So you have 40 days left. I do the math. That would take you through, I think, the end of January. It's a 45-day window, Jason. So so you'd have to find your new transfer destination, right? Joseph Feltwell, is Ritter a problem for our team for years to come, or will he be a project? I didn't follow him in college. Oh, so Desmond Ritter, for those that missed it, he's been named the starter for the Atlanta Falcons. They took him in the 3rd round, quarterback from Cincinnati. He was great in college, man. He won 44 games, 4-year starter at Cincinnati. Got better and better and better. He got him into the playoff, obviously in his final year there. They played the Peach Bowl against Georgia 2 years ago. So he, yeah, man, he was a really, really good college football player. And I think, they did a smart thing in trying to bring him along slowly. And so they started Mariota, but now they're at this point where their season's done and they can say, all right, kid, let's see what you got. I think he is they're hoping that he is what Russell Wilson was as a 3rd rounder, what Jalen Hurts was as a 2nd rounder, a guy that is going to become their franchise quarterback. Jonathan Martin, good morning. Jason, the like button has been destroyed on my computer. Thank you, Jason. I appreciate that. Mark Hammond, good morning. Tony Williams, Bubba Smith, Brant, for LSU, how much of the gap will be closed leading into next year with getting the dudes like Georgia and Bama? Would Georgia and Bama take a step back? So Brant, I'll tell you this. Georgia, you would have thought that this year. After losing 15 guys to the draft, they didn't. And Bama will have to replace Bryce Young. So it's a lot of rinse repeat with Bama, but that's a big one, right? Replacing Bryce Young. And yeah, I would think LSU's roster would certainly take another giant step forward. Jared Rankles, morning, Matt, will be attending a baseball fundraiser in January. You'll be at Hammond. Yep, looking forward to it. What are the chances we could take a shot of whiskey together? I'll drink some whiskey for sure, but I don't really do shots. Good whiskey is meant to be enjoyed, sipped and enjoyed. But I'll do that. I'll certainly have a toast and be glad to do that. But shooting, I don't really shoot whiskey or anything anymore. That's not really enjoyable. Let's get it down the hatch to speed up the buzz. So, but I'm looking forward to being there, Jared. Thank you for saying that, man. Looking forward to meeting you. Please, whenever that event rolls around, please come up and say hey to me, man. Love to meet you. Let's see, a couple more minutes. It's always brought to you by Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic. Of course, you need North Pedis, go to Brock. They've been great sponsors of ours here in Morning Scone for a long time, man. They're just the best. brortho.com is the website. No matter what subspecialty you need, they've even got, PT and all that stuff as well, PT, OT. So check them out, brortho.com, Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic. Hudco Roofing, hudcoroofing.com. Do business with someone you know. Hudco's pinned in the chat, so I would love to give you a free, no obligation roofing inspection. Just click the link. We'll get out to the house, get your free, no obligation roofing inspection, Hudco Roofing. And of course, Restored Motions, restoredmotions.com if you have pain. Book a session with Crystal Poche. As a matter of fact, I saw Dale Broussard in Atlanta. He was singing Crystal Poche's praises. He knows. He knows. Lewis III, morning, Matt. Back to yesterday's question. Why does it seem so many local reporters tiptoe around negative criticism of the Saints organization? You seem to be one of the few that won't. So, Lewis, I'm not sure if you heard, but someone did just ask me that a little bit ago. It maybe worded a different way. I don't know. I think there's a big difference in being a reporter and being in the opinion media. If you're a reporter, you are literally reporting the news of the team, as opposed to being like a columnist where your job is to give an opinion, or a radio talk shows where your job is to give an opinion. So maybe that's part of it. Maybe it is access. Maybe it is personal relationships. Maybe I don't know. Maybe they just have a different opinion than me. I don't know. I can't speak for how someone else does their job. I can just speak for how I do mine. Jason H. Morning, Matt. You and Drew looked sharp yesterday for your pictures. Thank you very much. Little family photo day yesterday morning. Cody Brunet, do you think we see Walker Howard in the bowl game? I do not. Jeb Whitley, morning from Speedwell, Tennessee. Can we please draft Hendon Hooker? I think there's a good shot of it. Saints will pick most certainly in the top 10 of this fall's draft. Remember, there's only 31 first-round picks this year. Miami forfeited their first-rounder because of the the Flores stuff. So 31 first-round picks. Tankathon right now has the Saints with the 5th pick in the draft. So while they would not have the 5th pick, they would draft potentially 5th pick of the 2nd round, which means 36th overall. And Hendon Hooker should be on the board there. It would be very nice if you had that 5th pick, because you'd very likely be in the running for Young, Stroud, Levis, one of those top quarterbacks in the draft. Troy Hebert. Good morning, Matt. I'm new to sports betting. How do you place a teaser bet like Jimmy I mentioned yesterday in AFR? Yeah, so it's basically an alternate line parlay. So yesterday Jimmy mentioned teasing the Raiders -1, which didn't hit because of Baker Mayfield. Oh my God, I could not. I was watching at the end like, you've got to be kidding me. 97 yards with no timeouts, and anyway. So you would basically parlay the alternate spread. So like Raiders -1 paired with, I think he said Army +8 or 8.5. +8.5 is what it was. So that was the teaser. Sean Comiskey, I heard some commentators saying Saints at best get 2 second-round picks if Peyton comes back. Not terrible to get 2 players in the top 50. Yeah, so I agree with you, Sean. And I think that's probably right. I had kind of looked at the John Gruden trade from 2002 as precedent, where the Bucs gave up a couple of 1s, and that would have been awesome. But the consensus seems to be that since Peyton's not in coaching right now, the longer he stays out, the more that valuation drops, because you don't really have any leverage. So yeah, a couple of 2s, maybe it. And knowing the Saints, they probably package those picks and move up, take somebody else. Jordan Thomas, morning, Matt. What are your thoughts on Denver Harris? Great player, obviously, from A&M. Some off-field issues, clearly. Does Brian Kelly want to welcome that into the locker room? Don't know. But good player, and you need secondary players. Let's see. Golly, I only got a couple more minutes. Wacky Chris, good morning. Monitoring the transfer portal is insanity. Are there any guys LSU is looking at specifically or have reached out to LSU? Yeah, so look, I would recommend if you go to On3 has a page. It's their transfer portal breakdown for every team. So if you go to on the Bengal Tiger, which is LSU's On3 page, they have the LSU NCAA transfer portal breakdown. So they list the offers that LSU has given out and the players in the portal. So if you're trying to keep track of the running list of those players. So the offers LSU's given out are Kyle Morlock, that's the tight end from Shorter University, Brandon Fisk, who's a defensive tackle from Western Michigan, and Braden Swinson, who's the edge rusher from Oregon. Those are the offers they've given out in the portal so far. Jason, crazy, the Pels are doing to the Lakers what the Eagles did to the Saints. Jason, I don't even think there's a comp there. I mean, the King's ransom that the Pels got for Anthony Davis is incredible. I mean, it's not even comparable to a pick swap that the Lakers or that the Eagles and the Saints had over 1 year. Because the Pelicans-Lakers trade, I mean, you're talking about a trade that will bleed into 4 years of worth of assets. I mean, that's incredible. But I understand what you mean. Like, the Lakers have fallen on their face and they don't have draft capital. But man, it's one of the big reasons they brought in David Griffin was to execute that trade, and very clearly in hindsight, he's done an awesome job. All right, Larry Garner. Has there been silence on the Nuss bus regarding staying or entering the portal? I mean, look, the word last week was that he was likely entering the portal, Nussmeier. I don't know if Saturday's game changed that, and I don't know if they're near a decision. We'll see. Trivia, looks like Trash Facebook is having issues. Facebook's not having any issues. I got you, Jared. Charlie Cavell, good morning. Brandon Ortiz, good morning. Carl Alexander, what's up? Loving the button down. Sure, thank you, man. Appreciate that. Randall Offrecht, good morning. Who do you think should be the favorite to win the SEC? Georgia. What do you think about Denver Harris from A&M? Talked about that one a sec ago. All right. Yeah, so Jesse asked a good question. So what happens if a player in the portal doesn't find a destination? Can they come back to the school they left if there's a roster spot? That's one of the things, Jesse, that often goes. It's a good question because it often goes overlooked. A lot of guys jump in the portal thinking they're going to have a lot of transfer options, and they don't, because there have to be roster spots available at another school for you. So if you go into the portal and there isn't, I mean, you may go into the portal thinking, all right, I'm going to have my pick of, 10 FBS schools, and if nobody reaches out to you, no one has a spot or is looking for you or likes you as a prospect, that position, you're kind of stuck. I mean, you probably have to, in that instance, you probably go down a level. You probably do what Jordan Tolles did, who ended up going to play at Morgan State this year. So it's a good question that a lot of people don't consider. You can go back to the school that you were with if the coach and staff will have you back, if they still have that roster spot. But they don't always. So, all right, I think we're just about done, and I got to go. So thank y'all so much for being here. Charlie asks, is Jaden likely coming back? Don't know, Charlie. If y'all saw it yesterday, Mel Kiper put out his new big board. He had Jaden Daniels, the 5th best quarterback in the draft. Remember, Mac Jones 2 years ago was the 5th quarterback taken, and he went in round 1. Now last year the 5th quarterback taken was, I looked this up. Bailey Zappi, who the Patriots took in round 4 or 5. So depends where his grade is, but I mean, Jaden Daniels would probably be selected much higher than many LSU fans think he would be. So we'll see. All right, I got to go, y'all. Have an awesome day. AFR at 3. We'll see y'all then. Please smash that like button. As always, shout out to Brock, Hudco, Restored Motions. Y'all have a great day. Peace.